streams at the same time. For whatever reason, I can't seem to live stream within Instagram at the same time that I am live streaming through YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. So I'm going to talk about the same topic at the same time. One holding my phone and one I'm doing via my laptop. So here's the topic that I want to bring up. It's really interesting. I was just at a founder lunch minutes ago, and we were talking about the year. And 2023, for the most part, for most founders, was not the year of growth. It was a year of retraction, a year of trying to save retained earnings because we don't know what's going on in 2024, which isn't looking a lot better. And more, teammates keep asking me about offshoring best practices because around the world, companies are laying off their existing employees because their largest operating expense is human capital. And those teammates are just unable to produce a strong ROI, paying them $100,000 a year to do something when the company's not profitable or dancing on the line of not becoming profitable. And as word is getting out that micro businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses can leverage talent all around the world, as COVID has shown us that things like sales support, marketing support, virtual assistants, customer support can be done from anywhere around the world. So the purpose of today's summit or today's live stream is I want to talk about something opposite of what I did this morning. So this morning, what I talked about was the importance of being able, and this is just the heater in my office, the importance of looking at your operating leverage benchmarking. So you take any particular role of talent and you benchmark, say, North American prices versus Philippines versus Bangladesh. And typically the labor arbitrage is dramatic in certain roles. That's why we focus in on Bangladesh, one of the greatest labor arbitrages in the world. Now with that, many times you don't actually know you have the problem yet. You don't know about the role that you want to hire for. You, as an example, just know that you are a personal bottleneck or that you can't seem to get over this kind of growth ceiling because you're stuck in the mud doing $5 an hour tasks. Or more importantly, your teammates are frustrated. I watched this with all kinds of friends who are employees. They complain that they're being stuck doing and working in a business, not on a business. They're doing tasks that frankly they thought they would stop doing when they were 23 years old. Now they're 43 or now they're 53. And so here's the mindset that I think that you want to look at this. And then I'm going to show you a document that I highly recommend you download that is on our website that I'll show you here in a second. So to answer the question directly, if you are thinking about a virtual assistant as an example, remember, virtual assistants don't need to be an assistant just to you, the founder. You have executives, you have directors and vice presidents who are working on extremely important things for your business. Millions of dollars of value they're working on. They themselves are like entrepreneurs, but you're asking them to do tasks that you wouldn't do yourself, that frankly, the 23-year-old version of you barely wants to do. So if you were to think about how you equate where you would start, here's two things that I would think about. From your perspective as a founder and CEO, I would highly recommend you focus in on as an owner of a company. So take your owner's hat off and then you get your CEO and owner's hat. If you're looking at it from an owner's perspective, those that own the equity in the company, those that hold the title of CEO, even though a CEO is a role within a business, but usually that CEO is an equity owner. If you look at it from that perspective, you would want that role only focused in, obviously, on $5 an hour tasks, but you want them focused only on either revenue generation, which is worth $500 an hour, or developing intellectual property that moves the company forward, that serves the customer better. So those are the two. That's great to see you. I'm on Instagram Live. Great to see you. I love that. Nazhat, you are a talent offshore. That is awesome. Fantastic. So, with that, as the founder, if you're looking at VA help, I would then start segmenting where do I need to play in only two places. I am either creating revenue or I'm creating intellectual property, software, ideas, strategies, new projects that can upsell and cross sell existing customers, as an example, like truly developing something new. So with that, I'm going to share my screen, and I know that I'm on Instagram Live here, but I'm on a different computer somewhere else. I'm going to share my screen. Here's what I'd highly recommend. I would go onto our website here. And as you can see, if I'm doing this live on Instagram, hopefully you can see that. I would go to free resources and drop down to a tab called Centralized Support Benchmarking. Now, the purpose of centralized support benchmarking is that you don't actually know what specific role you want to offshore, but what you do know is that you bottleneck to your own growth. So here's how this works. Track what you do over the course of a day or a week and put it into two buckets, $5 an hour tasks and $500 an hour value creation. As an example, when I am in a live meeting with a customer and I am selling a deal, that is worth $500 an hour. Okay, so I am talking about our solution and what we do and how we add value, and I'm driving them towards a proposal or resolution to a contract to win the deal, worth $500 an hour. But perhaps the act of enriching a database, finding emails, phone numbers, LinkedIn URLs, and actually doing the messaging, the prospecting to get to that meeting, that can be done by others. And that's a $5 an hour task. So you could have prospectors. So now you've carved out, what do I not like to do? What am I struggling to do? But more importantly, what is preventing you from growth? And it's either you need to be focused on doing deals, like you're a rainmaker, or you create wildly amazing intellectual property for the business. Anything else, you're not focused on. So as you start to go through this document, what you start to do is you start to tally up the $5 an hour tasks. And these are the places where your VA starts. They start on the simple bottlenecks that are preventing you from having more customer conversations or developing IP. Where are the biggest time vampires? The biggest time vampires: your email, your calendar, your scheduling, your travel logistics, your to-do list, your project management to-do list. That is like antivirus software running in the back of your head, eating up time that allows you to say, oh yeah, I should be talking to customer ABC today, or I need to be focusing on this big pitch and proposal right now because this is a 6-figure deal or a 7-figure deal. That's where you want to focus your time. Now, I hope I gave you some ideas. So the purpose here at the founder level is that, we'll go around my microphone, is you're adding up the $5 an hour tasks and you're driving down towards tallying up the hours of responsibility. And that helps you understand, am I looking for a fractional person? Am I looking for 1.5 people to eat up these tasks so that you can drive towards $500 an hour value creation? The second area that I would then be looking at virtual assistants is you have teammates. You have teammates that you don't really understand that they're unhappy. They're unhappy because they're working on rote mechanical tasks that during the job interview, you didn't sell them on this dream, but they got caught doing administrivia. Typically in a sales world, the average seller spends about a day a week on administrivia. Okay, so somewhere between 20 and 30% of their week. So the seller, as in my world, the seller gets very disenfranchised. The fact that they have to do this work that is a byproduct to getting to the outcome that they want in the role, but they get stuck on the administrivia, working in the business. And whether this is your marketers or your customer success leaders or what have you, they want to work on the big strategy. They want to work on the big marketing initiative. They want to work on the big customer. They want to work on the big upsell and cross-sell. But they're asked to do all these $5 an hour tasks. So you use this same system. You go in and you start to document who they are, and they follow themselves, or you could have somebody follow them. It's kind of like the Gilbreth time and motion study. Watch them for one day, track what they do, and they start to create a bucket. What did you do today that was repeatable, was truly like rote, mechanical, boring, you hated it, you begrudgingly did it, and it's also a $5 an hour task, versus where did you add the biggest impact to the business? And that's typically spending time with customers and or developing intellectual property that moves the business forward. And if they're not doing one of those, then they're stealing from their future selves. They're stealing from what they could produce in the business. So now that's what we are focused in on. So you are then, I'm going to stop sharing. You are then doing the same calculus. You follow and track them for a day or a week. They start to bucket $5 an hour task, $500 an hour value creation. And what you're trying to avoid specifically for your teammates, churn is a killer. You cannot afford great teammates leaving. It typically costs you 6 to 12 months worth of replacement cost. So how can you then focus in on these $5 an hour tasks that will start pulling them away from your teammates so that they can unlock working on strategy work that they enjoy, and they focus in on that work, and now all of a sudden have this opportunity to unlock working on bigger projects. So if you want to know where that, go into free resources on Get Leverage, drop down into centralized support benchmarking. You'll be able to find that resource, be highly valuable for you to be able to think through where you might want to start. So I hope that you found this valuable, and I'm going to stop this live stream. And holding this phone for 12 minutes has been kind of difficult. But with that, I'm going to sign out of Instagram. Great to see you, Nashat. Great talent in Bangladesh as a virtual assistant. And I'm going to sign out here as well. Thank you. Great to see everybody. Thanks a lot.